So joining a meeting in Teams, got to be aware of some of the items in the navigation bar. So when you're first connecting to the meeting, you'll see this screen, okay? And you'll be able to connect using your video and your audio. You want to make sure that your audio, your microphone, is turned off, at least when you join the meeting. Okay, that way, whatever sounds are in your background don't interrupt the meeting. Okay? Then you'll join. Once you've entered the meeting, then there's a couple of other things that you can use your navigation bar to accomplish. First, we have to get into the meeting, right? All right, so now that we're in the meeting, and there's a couple of different tools that you should know about. Up on top here, you're going to see your navigation bar. Okay? The little speech bubble here is your chat box. You should click on that throughout your meeting, so that way you can correspond with other group members and your instructor. You can see what your instructor is sharing with you, including your sign-in link, including any materials needed for the class. You can respond to class discussions this way. If you look down here in the chat, there's other little items that you can include within your response. Sometimes you may need to just type. Sometimes you might need to attach a file. You can do that down here. And sometimes, and only if it's appropriate for your class, you can add in things like emojis and pictures. Okay, so it's fun to add a sticker. Okay, for example, in science class, maybe you happen to be talking about coral reefs or tidal pools, and you might need to put up pictures of like eels or anemones. In your chat, but don't do this unless it's actually called for by your instructor. Okay, so there's your chat options. Additionally, sometimes you might want to speak during your meeting, and so you need to get your instructor's attention. Okay, up here at the top there is the raise your hand. It's the digital version of doing this in class. Okay, so you will click on the raise your hand, and not only will there appear a little kind of Simpson yellow hand next to your icon on the Teams screen, but it will also say at the top of your toolbar there. So that way your instructor knows that your hand has been raised. Another great tool to get that attention, because we would love to hear your voices during those meetings. Love, love, love. Okay, so these three dots here, the sideways stoplight. Okay, if you click on those are going to have more options for you to use during the meeting. One of those is the fun one, and that is the background effects. That can be really helpful if what's behind you, you don't really want in your screen. And maybe I don't want to share my masks behind me or my calendar. Okay, so I can simply change that background to a blurred background, or you can incorporate something fun as a picture. And maybe I want to have balloons, or I enjoy, being on a spaceship, or I often like to go into Minecraft. You can apply that as your background, and then you don't have to worry or think about too much what's behind you in terms of sharing that space. I know that can be really important from a home perspective when you don't necessarily want your sister or brother's messy room in your background. Okay, so there's that. The last thing I want to show you here in the Teams setup is, again, your video and your mic button are here at the top. So that way, as you're moving back and forth within that meeting, if you're wanting to share during the discussion, you can unmute yourself here. And then here's turning that camera on and off. We do like seeing your faces. It is quite a treat. But all those are there up in that toolbar. To leave that meeting, you just click the hang up button there. And there is your lovely little tour of Teams.